Hello YouTube, I'm excited today. I'm bringing you another video about a weapon. Today's weapon is the Defender's Greatsword. It is one of my favorite weapons in the game. In this video I'm going to talk about my stats, I'm going to talk about the pros and cons of the weapon, and the whole time I'm going to be showing you some PvP clips that I'm using the weapon in. Let me walk you through how I got to this build that I'm using in this video. I decided recently that I wanted to try a build that I didn't really have to rely on buffing my weapon. I'm just kind of sick of constantly casting Sunlight Blade and Resonant Weapon, all of those, Flame Weapon, all of those things. So I had to find a weapon that had really good scaling. And that's how I came to the Defender's Greatsword. It has S scaling in Faith once you get it to +5 and infuse it with Lightning. The Defender's Greatsword actually cannot be buffed by weapon buffs such as Flame Weapon and Sunlight Blade and those, because it actually has a special ability. If you two-hand it and push the L2 button, or the LT button, it buffs itself with its own special buff, which I believe is not quite as strong as Sunlight Blade, but it is something. Its special self-buff also does not last as long as a normal weapon buff, such as Sunlight Blade. As you can see in the background, I'm actually going through my build, going through my items, my rings, and I'm going to go through my stats. Obviously, I don't have the fully upgraded version of the rings. Obviously, once I get them, I'll use them. An interesting thing about Ring of Blades in regards to the Defender's Greatsword. Normally, when you use the Ring of Blades on an infused weapon, or at least most infused weapons, its effects get halved. There are exceptions to this. The Defender's Greatsword, I believe, still gets 30 physical damage, or no, I'm sorry, more than that, 40 physical damage-ish from the Ring of Blades, which is quite good. It is worth noting that this weapon still has a C strength scaling, even after you infuse it with Lightning. This does help add to the total AR of the weapon. One reason why I really like this weapon is because it's hard. I like slower weapons that hit hard, and unfortunately I feel like a lot of the ultra great weapons in this game are just maybe a little too slow. At 20 strength, 20 dexterity, and 15 faith, the Defender's Greatsword AR is 192 physical damage, plus 32 physical damage from scaling, not including the Ring of Blades. And its lightning damage is 115 plus 91. It seems to get about 3 lightning damage per 1 faith point. That's very good scaling returns. In order to complete my build, I'm mostly going to just start stacking my faith up. At 20 strength, 12 dex, and 50 faith, the Defender's Greatsword has a total AR of 546. That is very high. That'll be the first pro of this weapon. It has very good damage due to its high scaling. The next pro of this weapon is definitely its moveset. It's got an excellent moveset. It's got a good combo of sweepies and pokey attacks. It's pretty much as good as a weapon gets, really. The last pro of this weapon is going to be its reach. As with most great swords, they're fairly long, and this provides excellent reach. And for the weapon's only real con, I'd say it would be its attack speed, which is sort of a cop-out. I feel like the attack speed's perfectly fine, but it is slower than straight swords and maces and the like. Its relatively slow attack speed means that the opponent has an easier time parrying this weapon. For this reason, I coupled this weapon with the old whip. So you've probably noticed that I'm not using any spells with this build. You probably think that's kind of weird. Well, I wanted to keep my attunement at base because this is a very greedy build. This is where the Southern Ritual Band +2 comes into play. I can just throw it on and get 3 spell slots to use. But I more or less wanted to just focus on melee for this build. Well, that's really about all I have to say about this weapon. I absolutely love it. Definitely one of my favorite Dark Souls 2 weapons for sure. Don't forget about the Ring of Blades +2. I feel like it's quite good on this weapon. Giving it 40 additional ARs, pretty good, just for one of your 4 ring slots. Well, that's all, folks. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please go ahead and sub. I would absolutely really appreciate that as well. Thank you.